Dr. John Watson, now a married man, was visiting his friend Sherlock Holmes at the rooms they once had shared at 221B Baker Street. The landlady, Mrs. Hudson, had let the doctor in.
The chemical test tubes. The violin case leaning in the corner. The scientific charts upon the wall. And the pipe tobacco still stored in the Persian slipper. Dreadful habit. Well, the place appears basically unchanged, Mrs. Hudson, and so do Holmes's eccentricities. You say he's been out all night? Must be in the midst of a case.
And he won't touch a bite, Doctor,
replied Mrs. Hudson.
When will you be pleased to dine, I ask him, and he says to me, 7:30 on the day after tomorrow. Oh, I'm dreadfully worried about him.
What are all these new curtains around the room?
Oh, he had me put them up about 3 days ago. Oh, look, there's something rather amusing behind this one, see?
Good heavens. Oh, it's only a wax figure. Why, it looks exactly like Holmes, quite remarkable. Except it sits still longer. I think I'll have a closer look.
Dr. Watson approached the wax dummy that sat before the closed window. Just then the door opened, and in walked Sherlock Holmes himself. "Stop, Watson."
Eh? What?
"Don't go near that window."
Why, Holmes, good to see you. Unexpectedly, as always.
"Mrs. Hudson, that will be all."
Will you be having dinner tonight, Mr. Holmes?
"Not tonight, Mrs. Hudson." After Mrs. Hudson had left, Dr. Watson asked Holmes,
"Now what's this business about staying away from the window? And why the wax figure?"
"It's there to throw a profile shadow on the shade. You see, situated in the window across the street, there is a gentleman with a noiseless air gun. And I rather fancy he's going to try to blow my head off this evening."
"What?"
"Yes, and I'd rather have him blow the head off of a wax figure than my own. This head is much too valuable, don't you think?"
"Why, what's this all about, Holmes?"
"It is about the Mazarin stone." Holmes explained that there had been an amazing jewel robbery. Thieves had made off with a famous diamond called the Mazarin stone, which belonged to the Queen. The special police had been called in from their headquarters at Scotland Yard, but even they could do nothing. Now the British government was counting on Holmes to find the thieves and the stolen jewel. So far, Holmes had identified the leader of the thieves. "And the fellow of whom I speak is Count von Hergel."
"The big game hunter."
"And gambler, and man about town, and thief, and murderer, and blackmailer. And there's another fellow in the game, too, Sam Merton."
"What, the former heavyweight boxing champion?"
"Yes, you may have seen him when you came in. He's lounging in the shadows across the street, Watson, keeping an eye on me."
"Well, can't you have them arrested if you know they did it?"
"It's no good. I could have them arrested, but I don't know the location of the stolen crown jewel. I want the stone. I've been shadowing the Count in disguise over the last several days, hoping he would lead me to it. Well, I followed him to the workshop of this fellow that makes these noiseless weapons. That's why I suppose the rifle is now in the window opposite. And at any moment the bullet might come through the glass." Just then, in came the landlady, Mrs. Hudson, to announce that a gentleman wanted to see Mr. Holmes. It was Count von Hergel. "The man himself. I told you, Watson. He has colossal nerve. Now be a good fellow and go down the back stairway, straight to Scotland Yard. Find Inspector Lestrade or Gregory or whoever is on duty, and bring him back here, with some other officers, of course."
"Nonsense, Holmes. Do you think I'm going to leave you here alone with this fellow? He wants to kill you."
"Yes, but he's bearding a different kind of animal in his den this time. I am much more dangerous than he."
"Well, I don't like this, Holmes, but I'll do it."
And Dr. Watson left to get the police.
For more titles from Jim Weiss and Well-Trained Mind Press, please visit us at jimweiss.com or welltrainedmind.com. Thank you for listening.